Hey guys, back again today, and I wanted to share with you a video that I think is kind of funny. It is one I'm sort of doing an informal tag on from Our Life on a Budget. So she posted this a couple of days ago and I was pretty amused by it. I thought it was an interesting idea, so I'm sort of stealing that idea and sharing my take on it. The video is titled Top 5 Pre-Dave Ramsey Idiotic Impulse Purchases, and I am still kind of chuckling at the name of it because we've all been there. So I really appreciated hers, and she's got one item in there. It's the tequila story, which none of mine top that. However, I would encourage you to go see her video because it is pretty good, and I'm really enjoying her channel. So if you haven't already found her, please check her out. So without any further ado, here are my Top 5 Pre-Dave Ramsey Idiotic Impulse Spends. And the first one I suspect many of us are culprits of, and this is Starbucks. I love Starbucks. I mean, I really enjoy going and getting an afternoon latte or Americano. And I, let's say, loved Starbucks excessively in the past. A couple years ago, I had just moved to Colorado, and part of the reason I love Starbucks is because having grown up a military brat, I love consistency. So if I can go to a store, no matter where I am in the country, and it's got the same layout as every other one, Target's a good example, I will do that. And if I can go to a Starbucks and I can order a vanilla latte and it tastes the same no matter which Starbucks I go to, I will do that. Well, when we first moved to Colorado, I think I had no friends here and I was just looking for some of that consistency and stability. I found myself going to Starbucks twice a day, pretty much every day. And sometimes I'd be getting a pastry too. So I didn't think too much of it when I was doing it, but later on I went back, and in a single month I had spent $238 at Starbucks, and that is idiocy at its finest. I mean, those pastries are not that good, but then, furthermore, I can make coffee at home, and I do make coffee at home. I have a great coffee maker. So why I went to Starbucks that much, I can only imagine it was to get that consistency and for the comfort of it. But good Lord, I will never spend that much money on Starbucks again. As a matter of fact, I've downgraded from the latte to Americanos only. And I only let myself go on days that I work in the office. So luckily I get to work from home on Wednesdays and Fridays. So at this point, I'm only getting my Americanos on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday afternoons. So my spend at Starbucks has gone down tremendously, and that was with intention. Number 4 on my list is my Marmot trench coat. This coat is very chic. I mean, it looks really good when I wear it. I really, really like it, but for $280, it probably should serve some function other than looking nice. So I bought this when I was living in Minneapolis, and I really loved the way it looked when I would wear my pressed trousers and my high heel shoes and this trench coat. I felt so chic in the city. I loved the way I looked. I felt so sophisticated when I wore it. But here's the thing. That coat does not help with the elements in the slightest. I mean, it's not warm. It doesn't cut the wind, so it's not a windbreaker. And then on top of that, I mean, if it was a really light drizzle, perhaps I would stay dry. But if it really rained, I mean, I got soaking wet. So I bought this $280 trench coat that looked nice, but did not help me at all with the weather, which is just asinine. So in the end, I still own the coat and I have still worn it, but I can only really wear it on decent weather days in the spring and in the fall, which, for $280, that's stupid. But anyway, I do still have it. I do love it. And it is kind of a throwback to my, professional city working days versus my suburb work from home days now. Number 3 on the list is our handheld Dyson. I don't know, again, why we love this vacuum as much as we did when we bought it. We were walking through Costco. We had seen it once and thought, ooh, that's kind of a neat looking vacuum. We kind of like it. And we had a Dyson before that just lasted forever. We still have it. It's kind of our junk vacuum now because we've abused it so badly. But then we saw this really flashy blue handheld one, and we thought of, we saw it the first time, and then we went back to Costco maybe like a month later and we saw it again. And I don't know, on total impulse, we bought it. It was $450. We told ourselves later that we bought it because it was so close to Father's Day. So we called it a Father's Day gift, but it was super lame. And then to add insult to injury, here we are 2 years later and it's broken. And it's not even broken because we abused it. We actually took good care of this one. Something in the charging mechanism broke, and I've called Dyson to see how they would recommend fixing it. They want me to bring it to a Dyson store. The nearest Dyson store is like 45 minutes away. So at this point, I'm thinking maybe Costco will let me return it, but who knows? So it's still hanging in my garage, but it's not functional, and I spent way too much on it. Moving to number 2 on the list. This is my kayaks. This one cracks me up a little bit. So when we moved to Colorado, I was pregnant with my daughter, and after I had her in the summertime in 2012. And so after I had her, I was convinced that I was going to go back to being this outdoorsy fit girl that I was prior to getting pregnant. And I purchased a kayak, and that kayak set pretty much got used one time that summer, and it wasn't even by me. It was used by my husband. So then the next summer I decided, well, now she's a little older and I'll be able to take her out on the water, and my husband can come too, and we'll do this like super picturesque, kayak across the reservoir and picnic on the other side type. I don't know. This is a daydream I had pretty frequently. So I went ahead and bought another kayak. Combined, spent $700 on them. We've used them about 7 times. I'm still optimistic and hopeful that they will get used and my picturesque picnic setting is going to happen. But as of right now, my kids are terrified of these kayaks. My daughter's been a few times. She usually wants to go with her aunt. So it's kind of funny that I have the daydream, but yet she wants to go ride with Auntie on the kayak. But in any event, another impulse purchase that has come to serve very little functional or practical purpose in our lives. And then last and most definitely not least is and I've got it right here to show you, it's my most obnoxious, idiotic impulse purchase. And I will say that it's not idiotic from the standpoint of not being practical. I do use it and I use it every day, but it is idiotic from the standpoint that I spent over $800 on it. And it's a wallet. I spent over $800 on a wallet on an impulse, and while I love this beautiful, beautiful wallet, that's obnoxious that I spent that much money. So what happened, the story behind this wallet, and by the way, it is beautiful, don't you think? Like with the magenta, and oh my goodness, I love the Louis Vuitton monogram. It's just such a gorgeous, gorgeous wallet. And I do use it every day, and I will probably use it for the rest of my life just because of how much I spent on it. And having now been on the Dave Ramsey plan, admittedly, probably when we're millionaires, I won't feel quite so bad about spending so much money on an item. But looking back now, I think, wow, what in God's name was I thinking? And actually, I can tell you what I was thinking. So my husband and I structure our budget where we both get a certain amount of fun money. And I had saved up my fun money to purchase a handbag that I really wanted. And I saved up for a good long time, like a year and a half. I saved a portion of my fun money. So I had cash to make this handbag purchase. And the Louis Vuitton boutique is not near to my home. So I took the day off of work, sent the kids to daycare, and I was going to have like this really sort of like personal me time day where I was going to take myself out to lunch and buy myself my handbag and then peruse the Fancy Pants Mall and do stuff like that. So I get to the boutique and it turns out the bag I wanted had been discontinued. So I had to make a decision. I had that much money in my hands and I was so sad the bag I wanted wasn't there, but I just, on an impulse, I was like, I'm here. I am making a purchase. And so was looking through the wallets, and there were 2 that I was looking at. One was $400, which would also have been an obnoxious purchase for an impulse buy. But this one, again, has the beautiful magenta. So this is the one I went with. And while I really love Louis Vuitton and it's become sort of a symbol of my personal success, at the same time, when I made this purchase, I had, I want to say like almost $30,000 in debt. So probably not I mean, absolutely not a very wise decision to spend $800 on a wallet. Even though I justified it because I was paying it in cash, I could have I could have put that money to such better use. So anyway, those are my impulse buys that bring some embarrassment, but you know what? That's life, and these are the choices I made, so I may as well own them. Have you guys made any impulse purchases that you look back on and you cringe a little bit, or maybe you look back on them and you think, I'm so glad I did that when I wasn't wise because I'm happy to have these things, and now that I'm on the Dave Ramsey plan, I'm not going to be making buys like that? If so, I would love to hear about them. Please like and share, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day.